Knobcon with the Korg NTS-1 digital synth kit. So this is a DIY kit in Korg's new Tekt lineup, an all-new lineup of DIY build-it-yourself synths for synthesists of all stripes. This is a great intro synth. If it's your first synth, you get to build it from a kit, or if you're into tweaking and digital synthesis with open source capabilities, this will load the same multi-engine oscillators as the Korg Minilogue XD and the Prologue. So this thing is a digital synthesizer. It's got a digital oscillator with both digitally analog modeled waveforms and also digital waveforms and the open source capabilities, so you can load your own oscillators on here. And then that runs into a digital multi-mode filter, which has high pass, low pass, different holes for your filters, and an envelope which has several different modes. And then the coolest feature on here is the multi-effects. So people love the stereo multi-effects from the Prologue, the Minilogue XD. So we put on the mod, which is chorus, phaser, flanger, and ensemble, delay, and reverb. They're all stereo. And what's really cool about this is not only are these effects and every aspect of the synth editable through a matrix style, you can also run audio in through a eighth inch stereo plug and use it as an external effects processor for any of your existing synths. So if you've got, for example, a Volca or an original Minilogue, you can run that audio into the new Tekt NTS-1 and affect that and have a multi-effects processor. It's got a ribbon keyboard that you build yourself. You actually apply that to the chassis, and you can see all the parts come in a little flat pack, so you can build it. And it has MIDI and power over USB, so you can hook it up to your USB power brick or power it with your computer and sequence it via USB MIDI. And it of course has sync out and in, so you can sync with your Volcas and sync up the internal arpeggiator. So that's the Korg new Tekt NTS-1 digital synthesizer DIY kit. Check it out this fall.
Is that like a shimmer? Oh, that's beautiful.
What we called a riser.
Sorry, but we know approximately what we're talking about there. Ooh, now wait a second. Was that a ring modulator, or what did you just kick in there?
So I'm actually just wave shaping the triangle.
Oh, what? Oh, that's something. Is it folding it, or what are we doing to it?
Yeah, it's kind of Korg's way of wave shaping digitally, so it's kind of a cross between wave folding and just kind of digital wave folding.
That's splendid. Noise in there or not, or what am I hearing? I'm not hearing it now. So. Wow. Is that 2-op FM I'm hearing? Or is that still the wave shape?
So this is actually the digital multi-engine oscillator.
Oh. So how many different filters are built into it right off the bat?
Let's find out. We got low pass, 2-pull, 4-pull, band pass, 2-pull and 4-pull, high pass, 2-pull and 4-pull, and then you can bypass the filter.
And we have come so far in digital filters.
Yeah?
I mean, I remember when, digital filter was all stair-steppy and just, there was nothing to it. It just felt like a weak EQ or something.
Oh yeah, the DSP on this thing, it's come so far since the days of, micro Korg, which is still a great synth, but, when you can pack that much into that small of a package, it's really impressive. And I think a lot of people might even just be using this for the effects, as an external effects box. But for so many people, I believe this is going to be a lot of people's first synthesizer and get people into programming and digital synthesis and open sourcing stuff. It's just really exciting.
It is exciting, and I am so delighted that you guys chose to take that programmable oscillator out and make it available for people. Do you know if there are any granular oscillators for this yet?
So not granular in the traditional sense, but you can achieve that kind of sound. The idea here is you can basically create oscillators by morphing between wave forms, but you can also take a little cycle of a waveform, for example, a single cycle of, I've sampled some older instruments and actually just turned them into oscillators. People are creating oscillators that are wavetable based, so not granular synthesis in the traditional sense, but you can really get that kind of sound out of it.
So the way you were describing it, it actually doesn't sound that difficult to create your own oscillator.
So there's actually been utilities that users have created for converting a straight up wave file into an oscillator, like a very, very short, fraction of a second wave file,
right.
But you can actually take a sample, load it on there as an oscillator. And Korg right now, we're working on a little landing page where we're putting up everybody's user oscillators, linking to people that put them up for free. Some people are actually selling some really nice oscillators and effects out there. So we love our community. We want to keep seeing people put those oscillators out there because it lets us expand our sonic palette, and it really lets people customize their instruments and make them their own.
Absolutely. It increases the value of the instrument. At that point, it's it's not just this or what it could do. No, it already does this.
Yeah.
And then, shout outs to all of the people that are actually putting their time in to share that back with the community.
Well, the idea with this is the Monotron was like a circuit vendor's dream, right? You could hack it open, add in a resistor if you wanted to change the cutoff frequency, just do all sorts of cool stuff with it. This is a digital vendor's dream where anything you want to try and program, you have a platform to do that on, because it's a digital synthesizer, so there's not as much circuit bending that's going to go on as with an analog synth, but getting in there and really programming it and just blowing the entire oscillator up for whatever you want to do to it, that's really exciting.
It's really exciting, and you don't have to worry about having a soldering iron and accidentally destroying the thing that you love.
Yeah.
No, that's splendid. Speaking of, because I've bricked things in the past, is it recoverable if you try to put something into it and it seems to have a power fluctuation at the time? I mean, is it one of those things where, oh crap, it's toast, or is it pretty bulletproof as far as trying to blow the code into it?
Oh, I mean, the actual utility to load custom oscillators and effects, it's all been really worked out.
I just wanted to verify, so you can do MIDI over USB, but you can plug the adapter as well?
This is a prototype, so this is a 2.5 millimeter, but on the production unit, it's going to be a 3.5 millimeter.
Excellent. So standard.
Yeah, you can plug it straight into your SQ1 without an adapter.
Nice.
8 inch to 1/8 inch.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got two of those. I love those.
The MIDI Association just standardized the 1/8 inch polarity, and they chose the Korg polarity rather than, I think, maybe Arturia had a different polarity, so they went with ours. So no
team.
Yeah, no adapters needed.
Excellent. Well, that's awesome. And but if I actually have the adapter from that, if I just want to go ahead and drive it from my own controller, 5-pin MIDI cable, run into the adapter into that, and I'm free to go.
Exactly.
Oh man. I was talking to somebody about it, and they were saying, you know what? I don't think it's flimsy at all. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you guys have the bumpers here on the corners to kind of protect, because these are actually part of the same surface board that it's made from.
Yeah, the case is all PCB, but the metal side panel is kind of protected a little bit.
Exactly, and you've got a little bit of a lip that comes over, and the top and the bottom are metal.
Yep.
Wow.
As far as the build, it's pretty robust. I had this rattling around in my backpack for a couple days, just taking it around and making little arpeggiations and stuff with it in my free time, and it's in great shape. A lot of the Korg stuff is really robust. It's built to be loved and used, and make music on the road with it. And as far as the digital stuff, I've been trying to mess up my multi-engine, and I haven't yet. So
Awesome. Well, I can't tell you how much I'm impressed. It's the bee's knees, man. And you saw that crazed look in my eye back at GearFest when I was like, dude, do you have it? Well, now you do.
We have it, yeah.
And soon all of us will have it, I'm sure. It's an extraordinary exploration tool. And that's one of the things about digital that I love at this point. I mean, we had this big analog revival, but people are starting to realize, it doesn't have to be analog to be wonderful. And especially, like you said, you don't need the soldering iron to make this DIY really become your instrument. So I can't thank you enough.
Ted, thanks for having me.
It's been great.